There is a rhythm already shaping your life. Not the rhythm of time, not the rhythm of logic or effort, but something far more subtle. The silent frequency you've been emitting since the moment you woke up. And the truth is, you're not waiting for the universe to respond. The universe is already responding right now to something you may not even realize you're doing. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you hold on to, every belief you carry, even unconsciously, sends out a signal. And that signal doesn't vanish. It echoes, it entangles, it shapes. But here's what most people miss. You're not manifesting from the words you say. You're manifesting from the frequency you embody. And that frequency isn't random. It follows patterns, sacred and invisible, that existed long before we named them. One of those patterns, perhaps the most misunderstood of all, is encoded in 3 numbers: 3, 6, and 9. Maybe you've heard the stories that Tesla called these numbers the key to the universe, that he was obsessed with them. He'd walk around a block 3 times before entering a building, or choose hotel rooms divisible by 3, 6, or 9. And you might have wondered, why? What did he see that others didn't? The answer isn't just historical, because these numbers aren't mere numerological curiosities. They are frequencies, templates, a triad encoded not in symbols, but in energy. They correspond not just to the structure of reality, but to the process of manifestation itself. 3 is the frequency of creation. 6, the frequency of activation. 9, the frequency of completion. Together they form a cycle, a spiral, not a line, mirroring how the quantum field moves from possibility to reality. But let's bring this to you right now. Ask yourself, what have I been trying to manifest? What version of myself have I been trying to become? Maybe you've tried affirmations, visualization. Maybe you've written your goals 100 times, yet something still feels off, like a missing piece. What if the issue isn't what you want, but how you're vibrating? Because repetition without alignment is just noise. But repetition with intention, matched to frequency, becomes signal. And the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. That's the essence of the 369 code. It's not superstition, not wishful thinking. It's the process of attuning yourself, day by day, breath by breath, to the field already reflecting versions of your life back at you. In this video, we're not just explaining the 369 method. We're decoding why it works and how you can use it to collapse timelines, rewrite patterns, and align with the version of you that already exists beyond your current identity. Because manifestation isn't magic, it's resonance. And 369 isn't a trick, it's a tuning fork. So let's begin not with theory, but with awareness. You are already broadcasting. The question is, what is your frequency saying about you right now? And are you ready to change it? You're not here to chase your dream life. You're here to remember it. The 369 frequency isn't a method for wishful thinking. It's a way to step back into harmony with the reality that already holds what you seek. What most people don't realize is that manifestation isn't about forcing the world to give you what you want. It's about aligning yourself with the reality where your desires already exist. This is why Tesla's obsession with 369 wasn't just mathematical eccentricity, it was vibrational precision. The universe doesn't arrange itself randomly, it follows patterns. And those patterns repeat everywhere, in the spin of galaxies, the flow of water, the shape of sound, and even within your own consciousness. So when someone tells you to repeat an affirmation 3 times in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, and 9 at night, you're not just building a habit, you're syncing with a rhythm woven into the fabric of creation. 3 isn't just a number, it's the archetype of beginnings, the spark, the seed, the idea. 6 is movement and harmony, the bridge between intention and form. And 9? 9 is completion, the moment the invisible becomes undeniable. These numbers matter not because of superstition, but because of synchronization. Let's break it down. Imagine waking up and starting your day not by dwelling on what you lack, but by embodying the version of you that already has it. That's the first 3. You're not planting a wish, you're planting identity. You repeat the same message not to persuade the universe, but to remind your own energy. This is who I am now. Then at midday, when distractions try to drag you back into old patterns, you realign with 6, you strengthen the bridge, you fine-tune the signal. And at night, when the subconscious is most receptive, you repeat 9. You lock in the frequency, imprinting the new self, not just as a thought, but as a vibration. This is coherence. This is resonance. And this is what most never learn. The method only works when the feeling matches the message. Tesla understood that energy, frequency, and vibration weren't just ideas. They were the blueprint of reality. He once said, "If you want to uncover the universe's secrets, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." So why treat manifestation like a mind game when the key is vibrational alignment? Science now confirms what mystics and visionaries always knew. Your thoughts shape your field, your emotions collapse possibilities, and your intentions, when held with focus, begin to rearrange matter. That's not magic, that's physics, neuroplasticity, quantum feedback. And when you combine all 3, thought, emotion, and tension, within a daily rhythm mirroring universal design, you don't just manifest more. You start living as the version of yourself that's already claimed what you seek. The 369 isn't a script, it's a tuning fork. And every time you use it with presence, you amplify your signal. The question isn't whether it works. The question is, are you ready to stop repeating affirmations and start embodying the frequency behind them? Because the real code isn't the numbers. It's who you become while aligning with them. And when that happens, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions finally align, the universe doesn't just listen, it answers. You've probably heard this method before. Write your desire 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night. That's the 369th technique. Simple, repetitive, almost mechanical. And that's exactly where most people stop. At the surface, they treat it like a checklist, a routine, something to do because they were told it might work. But here's the truth no one mentions. The 369 method doesn't work because of the numbers alone. It works when you become the frequency behind the repetition. Without that, it's not manifestation, it's mimicry. Let's go deeper. When you repeat something 3 times in the morning, you're not just setting an intention, you're activating a vibrational pattern at the most critical time of day, when your mind is closest to the subconscious state. Right after waking, your brain is still cycling through theta waves. It's open, impressionable, like wet clay. Whatever you imprint into it isn't just stored as information, it's absorbed as identity. So if you repeat a statement like, "I am abundant with full focus and feeling," you're not just saying it, you're embodying it. You're broadcasting that signal into your nervous system, into your energy field, into the quantum field that records and mirrors your vibrational state. But the method doesn't stop there. 6 times in the afternoon isn't arbitrary. By then, the momentum of your day, your thoughts, stress, distractions, has likely knocked you off course. The 6 is a reset, a realignment, a moment to pause and return to the frequency you chose that morning. It's a midday correction, and neurologically it matters, because repetition spaced over time, especially paired with heightened emotion, strengthens neural pathways. This is how you train your brain to think from the future, instead of reliving the past. And then comes 9, the completion, the collapse. At night, your subconscious opens again. Your brain waves slow down. And now you have the chance to lock in the frequency you've carried all day. Not just through words, but through emotional memory. The way you fall asleep, what you feel, what you focus on, it shapes what your subconscious processes during sleep. And sleep is where your identity gets reshaped. That's why 9 isn't just the end of the sequence. It's the moment of surrender, the final imprint, the signal you send into the quantum field when conscious effort fades. This whole process, 369, isn't linear. It's cyclical. It's a spiral of vibrational alignment. And when done with presence and consistency, something deep begins to happen. Your nervous system starts anticipating your new identity. Your energy field begins to hold it before there's any external proof. And that's the key. You don't wait for results to feel different. You feel different first, and then your results start to match. Joe Dispenza explains this clearly. Your personality creates your personal reality, meaning if you don't change who you're being, what you think, how you feel, what you believe, you'll keep getting the same experiences. The 369 method, done right, isn't about getting something. It's about shifting your state of being so completely that your outer world must reflect that change. The science supports this. Neuroplasticity shows our brains aren't fixed. They're adaptable, flexible. They change based on thought and experience. And your nervous system can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. That's why when you mix repetition with vivid visualization and emotion, the 3 ingredients of manifestation, you create a feedback loop between your inner world and the quantum field. But none of this happens automatically. You can write something 3,000 times and still be stuck. Because frequency isn't in the action, it's in the feeling, the state, the alignment between what you're saying, seeing, and feeling. That's the real method. The true 369. It's not about numbers, it's a vibrational protocol. And here's the most crucial truth. When you do this with presence, you start noticing subtle shifts. Opportunities arise. People react differently. You feel less reactive, more in tune, and slowly, or sometimes suddenly, reality starts rearranging itself around your new identity. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. Quantum mechanics, and you are the observer. So if you've tried the 369 method before and felt it didn't work, pause. Ask yourself, was I present? Was I aligned? Was I feeling what I wrote? Or was I just repeating words, hoping they'd fix something? Because once you realize the method is a mirror and you are the message, the numbers start working. Not because they're special, but because you are. And when that realization hits, your entire experience of manifestation shifts. You move from hoping to harmonizing. Let's try something different now. Not just understand, but feel. Not just hear the code, but step into it. Because the truth is, no change happens through knowledge alone. Change happens when knowledge meets embodiment. And right now, we're stepping into the 369 field together. Start by taking a breath, a deep one, in through the nose, slowly, and out gently through the mouth. Again. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel your body relax. Feel your awareness settle into the present. There's nothing else to do, nothing else to solve. Just this moment, your inner world, and the field that's listening. Now, close your eyes if you can, and picture something simple, yet clear. The version of you that already lives the reality you desire. Not the one that's trying, not the one that's healing, the one that's already aligned. Who are they? What do they feel right now? How do they stand? How do they breathe? What do they believe? or dream without needing to convince themselves. Sit with that image. Let it grow vivid. See where they are. Hear the sounds around them. And most importantly, feel what they're feeling. Let your chest rise. Let your heart recognize what's already yours in vibration. Now, we activate the code. In your mind, or aloud if you're alone, say this phrase 3 times. I am now aligned with the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Again, 3 times, slowly, with feeling, not as an act, but as a remembering. This is the morning frequency. The first ripple, the pulse of creation. Now imagine it's midday. A few hours have passed. Life has tried to distract you, but instead of drifting, you return to the code. You repeat the same phrase, this time 6 times. Each time with more strength, more clarity, more coherence. This is the bridge, the connection between what you said this morning and how you're acting now. Feel that alignment click into place, like tuning an instrument that was just slightly off. And finally, imagine it's night. The sun has set. The world is still. And now you return to your statement one last time. 9 repetitions, full of feeling. No forcing, no wishing. Just presence, just energy, just truth. 9 times you remind your subconscious, this is who I am now. This is where the code begins. To embed, not in your calendar, but in your being. When you do this consistently, not out of obligation, but devotion, something shifts. You wake with less doubt. You speak with more conviction. You notice synchronicities, reflections in the outer world that mirror your inner state. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. You've moved from asking to embodying. And embodiment is the only language the universe truly understands. Now, to seal this ritual, we'll do something simple. Symbolic, yet potent. A collective act of anchoring frequency. If this practice stirred something in you, if you felt even a flicker of that higher self echoing back, comment below. I am tuned to 369. Not because the words are magic, but because declaring them publicly, deliberately, sends a ripple through your nervous system and the field. You're not just consuming content, you're cultivating coherence. You're not just listening, you're resonating. This is how we change as individuals, and this is how we begin to shift as a collective. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about presence, with honesty, with feeling, with trust in the unseen. The universe doesn't demand flawlessness, it demands alignment. So take one more breath, one last time. Inhale presence, exhale resistance. Let the silence after this video be your beginning. Let the repetition become your recalibration. And let the numbers 369 remind you. Your reality isn't waiting to be built. It's waiting to be reclaimed. Here's the truth most never fully grasp. You're not trying to reach somewhere. You're trying to remember. The future you want isn't ahead. It's already woven into you. But it can only meet you when you start acting, breathing, and choosing as the version of yourself who already lives that future. This is the forgotten law of manifestation. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And the 369 isn't just a ritual to get what you desire. It's a daily tuning into the vibration of the you who already has it. So the real shift isn't about repeating a phrase. It's about collapsing an identity. Not just imagining something better, but letting go of the version of you that keeps broadcasting lack, doubt, and delay. Every time you say, I am in the 369 sequence, you're not making a wish. You're making a declaration to the field. You're choosing which version of yourself becomes the observer. And in quantum physics, the observer is the one who collapses the wave. Sit with that. When you feel something deeply and pair it with focused thought and intention, your nervous system starts to accept it as real. And if sustained, this alignment between mind and emotion creates coherence, both in the brain and the heart. And coherence is what the quantum field responds to. So manifestation isn't a transaction, it's a transformation. You're not asking life for anything. You're becoming someone that life naturally reflects abundance, love, and freedom to, because you're the vibrational match to those things. This is why the 369 code is so powerful when used right. It's a permission slip to stop waiting and start remembering, a way to shift from someday thinking into the embodiment of now. Morning becomes a moment to declare your identity. Midday becomes a checkpoint to return to it. Evening becomes the imprinting of that identity into your subconscious. And day by day, you start to feel it. A softening of resistance, a quiet confidence, a sense that something inside you knows, this is already done. People around you might not notice the shift at first. That's okay. They don't have to. Because reality doesn't change when the world sees you differently. It changes when you see yourself differently, consistently, deeply, and vibrationally. Let's take this even further. Imagine if you already lived the life you're trying to manifest, not one day. Now, what choices would you make today? How would you speak? How would you move through this moment? That alignment, that embodiment, is the portal. And the 369 method is simply the compass that keeps you pointed there. Not to impress the field, but to engrave the frequency of your desired self so deeply within you that the field has no choice but to reflect it. You begin to notice patterns breaking, opportunities aligning, people responding differently. Not because you forced change, but because you stopped being the version of yourself aligned with delay and started being the version aligned with already. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. Collapse the identity, and the timeline follows. You don't chase, you tune, you don't beg, you become. And the most profound part, this isn't about effort, it's about presence. Energy doesn't lie. The universe doesn't hear your doubts, it hears your vibration. And the moment your being aligns with your desire, not in words, but in energy, the field responds. Reality begins to shift. So don't wait for a sign. You are the sign. The proof isn't out there, it's who you're being. Right now, every 3 to 6 to 9 cycle is an opportunity to step into that version, again and again, until it's no longer a practice. It's your natural state. And when that happens, manifestation isn't something you force. It's something that flows, effortlessly, inevitably, with ease. There's a frequency that doesn't scream, it doesn't plead, it doesn't chase. It just exists. It hums beneath the noise, steady, unshaken, present. That's the frequency of the version of you who no longer questions if it's working, because they already know. The greatest shifts don't happen in the striving. They happen in the being, in the unseen moments, the breath you take when no one's there, the thought you choose when old habits try to drag you back, the quiet surrender of needing validation, because your energy has already shifted. This is what the 369 frequency teaches you. Not a fixation on results, but a connection to alignment, a connection to your own power. Because when you show up day after day and attune to the same vibration with presence and clarity, the doubt fades, the struggle ends, and you start living a deeper truth. Your outer world isn't a puzzle, it's a reflection. And the reflection is always listening. Always. You don't have to persuade it. You just have to become steady enough, calm enough, certain enough, that it has no choice but to mirror who you truly are. That's why this isn't about manifesting one thing. It's about becoming the kind of person who can manifest anything. because they're no longer out of sync with their own frequency, because they no longer work against themselves, because they no longer sabotage their vision with doubt and fear. You've already caught glimpses of this version of yourself, the one who speaks with clarity, the one who acts with certainty, the one who doesn't perform or pretend, but simply shines. This is the you that the 3R69 method helps you reclaim. Slowly, gently, powerfully, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. One repetition at a time, one alignment at a time, one moment of choosing presence over habit, awareness over impulse, trust over resistance. Eventually, this becomes your natural state, not a trick you use, but a frequency you exist in. And when that happens, manifestation stops being a goal. It becomes a side effect of alignment, of clarity, of living deliberately. And the most beautiful part, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up again and again. Because reality doesn't shift through grand gestures. It shifts through steady, quiet alignment. So when you finish this video, don't chase more answers. Turn inward. Breathe into your core. Come back to your code. Repeat it not as a hope, but as a reminder. I am now the version of me that already lives my desired reality. Let that be your mantra, your anchor, your true frequency. And if this message hit home, if something in you stirred, loosened, or woke up, consider subscribing to stay in this field, this resonance. We're a community tuning into the silent language of the quantum, together, because you're not alone in this. And the version of you already living your next reality isn't far off. It's woven into you, right here. So breathe, trust, and tune back in.